Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Chapter 11, 2 and 3 dimensional models. Lesson 4, spheres. Our main objective is to find the volume and the surface area of the spheres using a formula. So let's see what is the formula to find the volume and surface area. So here is the formula to find the volume of a sphere. It says the volume of a sphere is 4/3 of the product of the pi and the cube of the radius of the sphere. So the main thing is that we have to know what is the radius of the sphere, and then simply we find the volume using this formula 4/3 pi r cube. Similarly, to find the radius of the surface area of the sphere, again we must know what is the radius of the sphere, and then simply multiply 4 pi with the radius squared, and it will give you the value of the surface area. So let's solve some of the examples here. Try it. Number 2, it says what is the largest volume a sphere can have if it is covered by 6 squared meters of fabric. Okay, now because to find the volume of the sphere, if you what is the formula? The formula says 4/3 pi r cube. So we need the radius to find the volume of the sphere, and right now we are not given the value of the radius in this question, right? How can we find the value of the radius? So we are going to use this information that says covered by a fabric. So whenever a thing is covered by a paper, by a fabric, it means that is the surface area of the sphere. So this is actually the surface area of the sphere, that is 6 squared meters, right? So what is the formula for the we will use the formula of the surface area to find the radius of the sphere. So the formula is 4 pi r squared. Now we can put the value of the surface area, that is 6, and then here we have 4 pi r squared. Now divide each side by 4 pi. So divide here by 4 pi and divide here by 4 pi. What will happen? This 4 will cancel, 4 pi will cancel pi, and we will have r squared equals 6/4 pi. Now to get the value of the radius, we are going to take the square root of this side, and we will take the square root of the other side and see what is the value of the radius. So let's put the values of this into the calculator. Let me show you how we will put the values. So first you have to take the square root sign, and then under the square root sign we have the fraction. So you can write 6, and in the denominator you will write 4 pi. So shift pi, it's going to give us 0.69, or we can make it 0.7. So let's write it over here that the value of the radius is 0.7 meters. Now we can use this value of the radius in this formula to find the volume of the sphere. So it is going to be 4/3 times pi times radius cube, that is 0.7, and you will cube it. Now how to put these values onto the calculator? Let's check. So first of all, you can write 4/3 the fraction. So it's going to be 4/3, then bring the cursor here, so times it by pi. So shift, and this is the key to write pi, and then times it by 0.7, and you have to make cube of it. So press this key and write 3 over there, and finally our answer will become 1.4367. So we are going to round it, so it's going to be 1.44, right? So let's write it. So the volume will become 1.44 cubic meters. I hope it's clear for you. So here is something, it says find the volume of the hemisphere. Now what is a hemisphere? A hemisphere is actually a half sphere, or you can say, like if you have a ball, then it is a half ball. So to find the volume of any hemisphere, there are 2 ways to find it. Either you can memorize this formula that says the volume of the hemisphere equals 2/3 of the pi r cube, or simply you can use the same formula that we were using for the volume of the sphere. You can use 4/3 pi r cube. Whatever the answer will be, divided by 2, it will give you the volume of the hemisphere. Clear? Okay, now look at this shape here. They are saying find the volume of the given shape, and you can see here it's a combination of two three-dimensional figures. One of the shape is a hemisphere, means it's a half sphere, right? And then we have one of the shape, as this shape is a cylinder. So first you will find the volume of each figure, and then you will multiply them, you will add them, right? So let's see what is the volume of the hemisphere. So I'll write just h over here to show that I'm finding the volume of the hemisphere. So it's going to be 2 over 3 times pi times r cube. So what is the radius of this hemisphere? Remember, whenever two you can say a cone and a cylinder, or a hemisphere and a cylinder are placed above each other, and you can see they are of the same size, so it means whatever the radius of the cylinder will be, it will be the radius of the cone or the hemisphere as well. So right now the diameter of the cylinder is 2 meters. This shows that the radius of the cylinder will be 1 meter, and it is going to be the same radius for the hemisphere. Hope it's clear, right? So it's going to be 1 cube. So finally you will get 2 over 3 pi, and we will convert it into decimals later on. Wait, I'll change it. Then we will find the volume of the cylinder. So what is the formula to find the volume of the cylinder? It's pi r squared h. So let's put the values into it. It's going to be pi, and the radius is 1, so it's going to be squared, times height, so it's 3. So finally the answer will become 3 pi, right? Now to find the total volume, I'll write T over here just to show that this is the total volume. So 2 over 3 pi plus 3 pi, either you can write it like this, or you can convert each one of these into decimals and then add it. It's all your choice. So finally let me check what is the answer. So here is the final answer. Look at this. I typed like this on the calculator, whatever here it was given. So then it was becoming 11 over 3 pi, and then I converted into decimal, so it is becoming 11.52. so let's write the answer. So it's becoming 11.52. What is the unit? It's meters, so it's going to be cubic meters. Clear? So here we have another tried question. It says what is the volume of the hemisphere with radius 3 feet. So very simple. You will write the formula. What is the formula for finding the volume of the hemisphere? It's 2 over 3 pi r cube. So let's put the values into it. It's going to be 2 over 3 times pi times the radius is 3, so it's going to be 3 cube, and we will put the values on the calculator. Like it's going to be, first you will write the fraction 2 over 3, and then bring the cursor here, times it by shift pi, times it by 3 cube. So finally it is becoming 18 pi, and if you convert it into decimals, it's becoming 54.55. so let's write it. It's 56.55, and the unit is cubic feet. Let me show it's 56.55 because I'll round it here. Clear? Okay, the second one is what is the volume of the hemisphere with diameter 13. So the same question, we have to find the volume. I'll write the same formula. Now what is the radius? We are not given the radius. It's the diameter, right? So it's very simple. Simply divide 13 by 2. So it will give you the radius, because radius is always the half of the diameter. So it's going to be 6.5. So let's substitute the values here. It's going to be 2 over 3 times pi times 6.5 cube, and let's put these values onto the calculator and see what is the answer. So the answer is becoming 575.17, and the unit is going to be cubic centimeters. So very easy lesson. Simply you have to substitute the values into the formula and it will give you the answer. What is the volume of the space between the sphere and the cylinder? So you can see here that we have a very large cylinder, and the sphere is touching the base and the top of the cylinder. They want to know that what is the space left here between the cylinder and the sphere. So simply you have to find the volume of the cylinder, volume of the sphere, and then subtract both the volumes to know what is the remaining volume, or you can say what is the volume between the two shapes. So let's do it step by step. So I'll just put the arrows here for each step. So the first step is to find the volume of the cone. We have the volume of the sphere, so let me erase it. So it's volume of the sphere. So let's find the volume of the sphere. So what is the formula? We know that it's 4 over 3, so it's 4 over 3 times it by pi times it by r. So what is the radius of the sphere? It's 12, and it's going to be cube. And wait, I'll show you what is the answer. Let me first show you what is the next step. So then we will find the volume of the cylinder. How do we find the volume of the cylinder? The volume of the cylinder, it's pi times r squared h, the height. So it's very obvious that the radius of the cylinder will be the same as the radius of the sphere, because you can see from here, right? So it's what is the radius? It's 12, so it's going to be 12 squared. Now what is the height of the cylinder? This is the main issue. This is the main, you can say, problem. The most of the students, they cannot judge. The sphere is from the top to the bottom of the cylinder. Okay, so if the you can say if the radius of the sphere is 12, then the diameter of the sphere will be 24, and that will become the diameter of the sphere will become the height of the cylinder. So it's going to be 24, right? Because the diameter of the sphere will be 24. Clear? So let's find the values. So here are the answers for both the volumes, and now in the third step we will find the remaining volume, or you can say the volume when or on the sides of this cone of this sphere, right? So it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 pi minus 2304 pi, and it will give us the answer. Let me check. It's going to be 3619.1, and the unit will be cubic centimeters. I think it's very clear, right? Now I want you to pause the video here and solve each question on your own, because the questions are very simple. Simply you have to use the formula and then substitute the values into the formula to know the volume or the surface area of each sphere. So here is the answer. The radius of the sphere given is 6, so I put this into the formula, and it is becoming 452.4 squared units, because it's area, so its unit will be square. Here is a hemisphere, and they want us to find the volume. No issue. Write the formula and substitute the values into it. Here is the answer. Very simple, right? You will substitute the value of the radius, that is pi, so it's going to be pi cube, and then you will write all these values onto the calculator to get the answer. Here it says find the volume and surface area of a sphere with radius 1. So the value of the radius is given 1. Simply write what is the formula for the volume, what is the formula for the surface area, substitute the value of the radius, and get the answers. So here are both the answers. The volume is becoming 4.19 cubic units, and the surface area is becoming 12.56 squared units. Remember, sometimes they ask you to leave the answer in terms of pi, then you will stop here, you will not convert it into decimal. Okay, and sometimes they ask you to give the answer correct to the nearest tens. In that case, this answer will become 4.2, and here this answer will become 12.6. Okay, here is the next question. It says find the surface area of each solid to the nearest tenth. So this was the thing that I was explaining you, right? So now you have to give your answer to the nearest tenth, means that after the decimal you will have just one place, that is the 10th place, right? Okay, now better pause the video here, solve it on your own, and then play the video to check your answer. Here is the answer. Very simple question. Simply write the formula and substitute the values. Please check your answer. Is it right or wrong? Here is the next question. Find the surface area of each figure to the nearest tenth, and the sphere with the volume is this. That means that we do not have the radius, so first you need to find the radius to find the surface area. It's not going to be a one-step problem, it's going to be a two-step problem. Remember, I gave you an example like this. Let me show you this example. Here the surface area was given and you were asked to find the volume, but we use the surface area to find the radius, and then we use this radius to find the volume. Like it was a two-step problem. Now in this case it's the opposite, you can say. First we will use the volume. That says volume equals, what is the formula for the volume? 4 over 3 pi r cube. We have to use this formula to find the radius. So let's substitute the values. So the volume is 100 equals 4 over 3 pi r cube. How will you move these to the other side? Now clearly you can see this 3 is here in the denominator, so it's going to be multiplied with 100. So we will have 3 times 100 equals 4 pi r cube, right? So then you can divide each side by 4 pi to get rid of this 4 pi. Okay, so this 4 pi will cancel, this 4 will cancel, 4 pi will cancel pi. So we are left with r cube equals 300 over 4 pi, right? Now to get the value of r, please remember this is cube, so the opposite of cube is cube root. So you will take the cube root of this side and you will take the cube root of this side. Here cube and cube root will cancel each other, so we will be left only with r equals. Now how will you write all this onto the calculator? Let me show you. Here for example, wait, let me show you. So how will you write on the calculator? Shift and this key, the square root key, it will give you cube root over here. Now inside the cube root we have a fraction, so in the numerator we have 300, and in the denominator, so bring the cursor to the denominator, we have 4, and then shift and we have pi, so it's going to be 2.88, right? So this is going to be the radius. So let's write it over here. It's becoming 2.88, right? Now we will use this value of the radius, it's inches by the way. So we will substitute this value in step 2 now. What is step 2? They wanted us to find the surface area. So what is the formula for finding the surface area of the sphere? It's 4 pi r squared. So let's substitute the value. So it's going to be pi times 2.88, and finally when you will write all this on the calculator, it is becoming 104. Let me check. So the answer is becoming actually it's becoming 104.2 square inches. Clear? So this will be the answer. Here is the next question. It says find the volume. So we have been given the radius. Very simple, it's a hemisphere, so you can use the formula of the hemisphere that says 2 over 3 pi r cube. Better pause the video here and complete the question on your own. Here is the answer. It's becoming 134 cubic units. The next one, it says find the volume of the composite figures. I explained you even in my last video of lesson 11.3, and now here one of the example I explained you. It is going to be a 3-step problem. First you will find the volume of the cone, then you will find the volume of the cylinder, and finally you will add both the volumes. Better pause the video here and complete it on your own. So here is the solution for this question. The volume of the cone is becoming 1000 pi over 3. The volume of the cylinder is 1200 pi, and then I added both and I wrote the answer directly in decimals, because here in the question they are saying that give your answer nearest to the tenths, so I gave it nearest to the tenths, right? Here is another question, question number 34. It says what is the radius of the sphere? So already I explained one example and a question like this, so better pause the video here and solve it on your own. So here is the answer. First you will use the formula of the surface area, substitute the values into it, and in the end when you will take the square root, it will give you the radius equals 4. That is the option D. Here is a challenge question. Better pause the video here because it's very simple. You have to find the volume, surface area, circumference, volume of the sphere of each. It's given here the information, and then you have to match. So here are answers of all first, second, third and fourth part. In the first part they asked us to find the volume of the sphere, so I used the formula and it is matching with A. Then in the second part they were asking us to find the surface area. I put the values into the formula of the surface area and it was matched with D part, D option you can say. And in the third part we were supposed to find the circumference. So what is the formula for the circumference? It's 2 pi r. So I put the values into it and it matched to the C option. Fourth part, the volume of the hemisphere, and it matched with B option. Here is the next challenge question. It says what is the radius of a hemisphere with volume this cubic centimeters, right? So because they have given us the volume of the hemisphere, so we will write the volume of the formula of the hemisphere of the volume of the hemisphere. So it's 2 over 3 pi r cube, right? So substitute the values into it. What is the volume? It's 144,000 cubic centimeters, and on the other side we have been given 2 over 3 times pi times r cube. What can we cancel from both sides here? It's also given over here pi, so we can cancel this pi with this pi right now and then move 2 over 3 to the other side. How will you move it? This 3 is in the denominator, so it will go in the numerator and will be multiplied with this 144,000, and this 2 is in the numerator, so it will be placed in the denominator. So here you will have r cube. So r cube will become equal to 216,000 means 216,000, and then you will take the cube root of each side. In one of the previous questions I explained you how to take the cube root on the calculator. So the value of the radius will become 60 centimeters. So this will be the answer. That's all for this lesson. Hope you understand it.